So we'll just start this off with the infamous PowerPoint, finding empirical articles. So here's the definition of empirical from the New Oxford American Dictionary. Based on, concerned with, or verifiable by observation or experience rather than theory or pure logic. So in this context, an empirical article is a scholarly article where the author or authors have conducted their own research and the results are reported and analyzed in the context of scholarly communication in the discipline in which that transpires. These are not empirical articles. They're theoretical, it's a position paper, an overview, or basically anything where the authors didn't conduct their own research. You do always have to look thoroughly in an article if you're going to use it for an assignment or a paper or a thesis. But there are some visual components that can help you determine sort of at a top level whether this is an empirical article or not, and also if it's scholarly. So the first page will typically include the title of the article, the author or authors, the abstract, which is the summary of the article, journal information, and author affiliations, because usually the authors are going to be connected to a college or a university or an institute, organization, which it helps verify that they're legitimate experts in the field that they're writing in. And then there are some common sections. Oops, sorry, let me go back. And not every single article will follow this exactly, but it follows a specific pattern. So there's introduction, literature review, research method, results, conclusion or discussion, and a bibliography or works cited. So here's the first page of a scholarly empirical article. And you can see there's the title, authors, their affiliation, the abstract, the name of the journal is Environmental Education Research, and it was published in 2020. Here's the introduction, which I think was on the same page, front page of that article. And it should be, sort of an overview, an introduction to a research question or a problem. In some articles, they will combine the literature review and the introduction into one section. Sometimes they keep that separate. So here's our literature review. And you can see they are citing many articles here. And that's how you know that the authors did not just make something up. They actually did their research. A literature review will show that they have tried to find the most important sources in the particular area that they're writing on. And they will cite them properly so that you can go and look these up if you want to. So they are engaging in the scholarly conversation. They didn't just come out of nowhere with some half-baked ideas. They actually looked at what had been researched and written about before, and they're sort of adding a brick onto that scholarly edifice with this article, helping to build up the conversation. Then there will be a methodology, research methods section. They need to tell you exactly what they did and who their subjects were or participants. So it'll often start out with information about, let's say, a school that they studied or a group of children or high school students. They have to tell you, what is the setting. They have to describe how many participants there were. So usually you'll get sort of some demographic information as well. Then they will go on to tell you how they collected their data, and it could be from surveys, questionnaires, it could be ethnographic studies, case studies, but they had to have collected data, quantitative, qualitative, or both, and this will show you how they went about it. Here you want to look for tables and graphs appearing in the text. So in a scholarly article, you'll often see these big walls of text. In an empirical article, there should be things popping up that show information that the authors have collected. And here's the results in which they present the data that they collected. So climate literacy survey administered to 35th graders, 6th graders, et cetera. And it's giving an overview of the data. And then we see charts, and here's some colorful pie charts and a table showing the data that they collected. And again, with these walls of text that you find in the scholarly articles, you're looking for tables and charts and things popping up in the middle. And that's not to say that non-empirical articles will never have things popping up, but in particular, these tables tend to be a good indication that it's probably empirical, but you always have to then, if you see an article that looks good, definitely make sure, okay, they did actually collect data themselves. Then there will be something like a conclusion or a discussion where they discuss the results and sort of put it in context of any hypotheses that they started out with in terms of their literature review. And then they will end the article with a list of references, which is basically the bibliography. So all those articles they were citing, especially in the literature review, will appear down here. And if you find any good articles referenced in the bibliography of an article that also seems pretty good or related, you can actually mine the bibliography for more sources. It could help you find other good articles for your assignments or papers or thesis.